I'm going to be starting a new series, and it is going to be called Whatever is True. It comes from Philippians 4. There's a verse in the Bible where it talks about fix your thoughts on whatever is true, whatever is excellent, whatever is praiseworthy, whatever is lovely. I don't know about heart yet. I'm still in the process. But I do know that my favorite part of that verse is to fix your thoughts on whatever is true. And being a student that is studying social work as well as a soon to become therapist, I'm in therapy as well, and I'm obsessed with the truth. I realize that regardless of how painful truth is, truth truly does set you free. And knowing what is true helps you and I to be able to move forward in life, and it helps us to be able to create new things and experience new things. And so just in general, I'll be coming on here under this Whatever is True series and just talking about different lies that we believe as human beings that keep us stagnant, that keep us from living in our full potential, and that don't allow us to walk into our purpose or keeps us back from living out the life that we're created to live. And simply in sharing this, I hope that what I've been learning, I'm able to help you as you are watching or listening, as I really just want to share what God is doing in my life and hoping that what he's doing in me can help someone else. I don't know who that might be, but I'm hoping, and Lord knows it's been taking forever for me to accept my place on this channel. I totally have imposter syndrome, and I don't necessarily always feel like I'm called. I don't necessarily feel like I'm supposed to be here. Feelings are not truth. God's word is truth. So I have to go back to what he said to me time and time again and remind myself that I was created and I was born for such a time as this. So I don't share these things frivolously. I truly am trying to be obedient in what God has called me to do, and he's called me to share. He's called me to open my mind to helping others through a social media platform that if I'm honest, I'm trying to hide from. I don't like being in the spotlight. People may beg to differ, but they really don't know me. If they truly knew me, they'd know how much I've been fighting being in front of people, places, and things. Okay, so here we go. I'm taking a leap of faith, guys, and welcome again to Mia's Rhythm. So the Whatever is True series, this first one that I just want to say is that I want to start with the foundation. I don't want to jump into the lies just yet. The foundation that I want to set is whatever is true is only going to come when we find out where the lies are coming from. A lot of us have been listening to stories in our lives, and these stories started from the day we were born. From the day we're born as infants, we're being told certain things, and then we grow into toddlers, and then we grow into children and adolescents, and we go through these different phases. But in all of these phases, wherever we go, whether it's church, home, work, school, play, wherever we end up, we seem to end up hearing stories. They become stories as in our adulthood, because as an adult, and I can clearly say I'm in my mid-30s, and all the things that I was told prior to being 30, I see them as stories. And I have tried to pick which ones are true, which ones aren't true, which ones are necessary, which ones do I throw out, which ones do I need to keep. I'm doing inventory now as I'm in my own family structure. And I'm trying to see, what do I take with me and what goes in the trash? And honestly, I feel like a lot of people don't realize it our worldview is formed. It's created by the people that were our primary caregivers, or our communities, or just the people we've been around. And it's not like we don't get to choose as infants where we get to learn from. So that's not to say that all of us have negative backgrounds. Some people have heard great stories, and they live out great lives because of those great stories that they were told. But some of us are not as fortunate to have positive information or feedback given to them to help them be empowered as adults. And so I want to just share with you that there are possible stories, and you might have a mixture. You might have some good stories, and you might have some negative stories. And in the description box, I'm going to share a book with you that I've been reading that's been helping me to realize the importance of understanding where stories come from. Because the stories we see, the stories that we hear, the stories that we experience, they manifest in our bodies. So there's another book called The Body Keeps the Score. And so whatever you hear and that whatever you experience, your body reacts to that story. So it's up to us to do inventory and figure out if I'm struggling with something in my life. Like for me, for instance, I'm going through various bodily issues, and I don't know why. And I'm trying to figure out why these things are happening to me. And I have to go back to the stories that I was told. So whatever is true, the reason why I'm doing this series is because a lot of us believe false beliefs, false narratives, false information that has been told to us. And those stories are holding us back from our potential. It's sad, but it is true. And so we have to do inventory. Where did we get this? Where did it come from? And I shared in our previous video about self-awareness. This is a part of self-awareness. It's knowing what you do believe. What values do you hold? What core principles that are in your life? Where did they come from? One of the biggest truths as a Christian that I had to ask myself, even now in my 30s, is to ask myself when it comes to God, who is he to me versus who was he to what my parents told me? Who is God? Like, who is he to me? And that's the biggest truth that one will begin having empowerment in, is knowing who God is for you, not knowing what God was for so-and-so, but what is God for you right here, right now? That's the biggest truth that will help you in your resilience and your mental strength. It'll help you to answer the proper questions. So, needless to say, I think it's important for us to ask ourselves, who's speaking to me? What voice is guiding my life? What voice is detrimental to me? Could be a potential pain, hurt, trauma. What is this voice that I keep going back to over and over again? Because it's easy for Christians to say, the devil is talking to you. We give the devil too much credit. The majority of the time, we as human beings have heard something and we didn't investigate what we heard. Instead of doing research, we just took what we heard from a human being, and then we let that fester in our lives. And then we've been living from that lie, or on a positive note, we've been living from that truth. So I say this all to preface what is going to start coming when you start hearing me talk about what truth is and what lies we've been believing in and how we should dismantle them. The first thing I want us to start with is, what do I believe? Where does this come from? What stories have I been told that I can't seem to shake? What are those negative things that just keep stalking me? It just keeps on coming up. I can't seem to get away from it. It keeps fighting me. It keeps coming up when I'm trying to sleep. This thought just keeps fighting me. I really don't know how else to describe it. But friends, I think it's important that we as human beings stop blaming the devil. We stop blaming people, because everyone is in dysfunction. Like, unless you're doing the work to get out of dysfunction, we're all human beings and we're all prone to fail. We're human. We are not perfect. So if we're living in an imperfect world, there's a lot of imperfection around us. So we have to go back to the concept and recognize, hey, God, show me, what is this? And if you don't talk to God, talk to yourself. Because your true self, you, will tell you what's going on, what was going on, who took you here, who brought you here. Ask yourselves the proper questions, and you'll start figuring out why, how did I get here? So once again, I want us to demolish the lies that we've believed and start receiving God's truth. But that's got to begin with self-awareness. Go back to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Think about all the things you heard, what somebody told you. Lord knows I'm so imperfect. I could have said things to people throughout my lifetime that's not true, that somebody else gave me. So that's why we just got to humble ourselves and realize everything around us has to be brought back to God. Hey, God, you're the only one who doesn't lie. You are the way, the truth, and the life. So give me clarity. Illuminate the darkness in my life and show me what I should walk in. This is why, friends, I choose to live with God, and the rhythm of my life is etched and patterned and tailored by God, because of the simple fact that God alone is truth. God alone is good, and God alone can only direct me towards what's best for me. So someone may have good intentions in a moment and tell me a truth to them, but in that circumstance, God is looking at me and saying, that truth doesn't apply to you. That is their truth. I have a truth for you, and I need you to listen to me. So in order for us to live in constant joy and in constant peace and in constant contentment, we have to keep turning back to God and saying, God, is this true? Is this story true? Where did this story come from? And to close this video, I have to say, where I am being strengthened and anchored right now is in a hymn. It's a hymn that we sing at church, and it's a song called Blessed Assurance. The song says, Jesus is mine. This is my story. This is my song. So whatever Jesus says about me is my story. Whatever Jesus has to say about my life, that is what is true. Not what some human being came up with, not what somebody said to me last week or 10 years ago. What God says to me about me right here, right now, that is my truth. And I'm praying, friends, that we get to a place where we're so strong enough that we're rooted in God's truth and we're not rooted in this world. So thanks for hanging out with me for these few minutes, and I hope you have a great day.